Hi, Kerry again with Best of Us Investors. I want to say good morning to you. Had a good weekend. Last Friday we always have on Friday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, we have a Zoom meeting amongst our tribe members. Those are the people who participate in our Discord. We have about 2,000 active members at this time, and some of them show up Friday to talk about what happened in the market and what might be happening in the market in the coming week. And I sensed a lot of fear. A lot of fear as a result of there's a lot of red in my portfolio, Kerry. I'm not sure about these biotech stocks and some of these fintech stocks and 3D printing stocks. There's a lot of fear. And what I've learned through my 77 years of life and my many years of dealing in the stock market, when you don't understand something and it turns against you, it creates fear. And what you need to realize is that most people are experiencing exactly what you're experiencing. But what you'll find is once you get past the fear, you'll find opportunity. And that's exactly what's happening with the stock market right now. As someone said, who wrote me and said, well, I'm 67 years old and I've seen this many times and it goes the same way every time. You just need to hold your ground and bear through it. So with that, Bob is a gentleman from Ireland. He asked me a very poignant question. He said, Kerry, I believe exactly in what you're saying about how our medical system is going to revolutionize as a result of genome therapy and genome editing. But how long is it going to take? How long is it going to be before we reap our rewards? And so I decided I need to spend the weekend doing some research and give Bob some light, let him see some light at the end of the tunnel on genome therapy and genome editing. And what I've discovered is there's a lot of money flowing their way right now that most of us don't know a whole lot about, and it's the smart money. And that's what I've been waiting for. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. But before I do that, I want to share with you, I realized not that long ago in my life that this fear is all manifested by that unwanted roommate who lives in my head and says, Kerry, you don't know what you're doing. You can't achieve what you're trying to achieve. And I said, where in the hell does that guy come from? 90% of my conversations are with him, and he's always negative. And so I realized that Kerry was a product of the first 14 years of his life. And in those 14 years, those certain things happened to him that formed his character. And his character lived in his head as an unwanted roommate. So I sat down and I said, I'll bet there's a lot of people who experience the same thing I do. So I wrote this book, Find Happiness by Discovering Who You Are and Why You Are You. If you have an unwanted roommate that you need to get rid of, I'd suggest you read this book. It's in the description. It's sold on Amazon. It changed my life. I evicted that son of a bitch and basically put my coach in my head. So let's first of all say this is not financial advice, and then let's talk about the fear that you have wrapped up or the opportunity that is presenting itself right now in the genome therapy business. Be right back.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
Okay, what I decided to do, as I said, was do some research. And I gathered some articles that basically pointed me in the direction that big pharma, that's, the Pfizers and the Modernas and the Vertex and Bayers and GlaxoSmithKline, the people who market to you the pharmaceutical products that make your life better, supposedly, are recognizing or have recognized that there is something coming down the pipeline that they need to get involved in. So over the last year, from January of 20 to today, they have pumped over $7.7 billion into some small companies that are in the genome therapy business. Names like Editus, Intella, Beam, let's say CRISPR, Marathon. They've recognized that their world is going to change, that antibodies, which come into play to take viruses out of our bodies, are based on a substance called CRISPR that is, I like to call the first responders when something goes wrong, when an accident happens in our body, and they develop as something that they put a needle in our arm and it takes care of it. Well, as a result of that, and as a result of the advancement in this process and the coronavirus, they have recognized, or some small companies, most of them have become birthed out of University of California and Harvard University. And these scientists have created this therapy that not only kills the virus in your body, but has the ability with some engineering to go in and take the mutations of problems in our genome out of our body. Now, these problems are manifested by what our ancestors ate, what they consumed, what they breathed, what the damages they did to their body, and they come in what we call generic diseases, and they include heart disease, cancer, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, all kinds of diseases. And we have discovered they are a product of our ancestry. They are a product of our parents' sperm and egg coming together and forming our body map. And we get half of our mother and half of our father, and that's who we are. Now, and that's why you can have, and you don't always get the same thing, and that's why you can have a blonde child and a dark-haired child from the same father and mother, because you get a different variation. Now, in my family, my mother died of cancer, my father died of cancer, my daughter died of cancer, my brothers have had cancer. And so I know that my genome is screwed up with my cancer gene. These companies have recognized or discovered the means by which they can come into my body and take out that mutated gene and take cancer out of my life. And if they do it in my granddaughter's egg and her fiance's sperm, it will eliminate cancer or whatever disease in the future. So Big Pharma has been sitting back, selling us our erectile dysfunction drug and our vaccine for the coronavirus, and woke up and said, what's going on with this genome therapy, genome sequencing and genome therapy, and is this real? And we don't know they've said that because we don't sit on their board of directors. But I have discovered that Bayer has given $40 million to Mammoth Biosciences, Vertex, and they gave $40 million, but promised another $1 billion with some completions of trials. Vertex stepped up and said, hey, wait, we'll give you $41 billion. And then Millipore Sigma came in, and so did SmithKline, or GlaxoSmithKline, all are throwing money at Meredith. Now, you don't know Meredith because it's not a public company. It's what's called a unicorn right now. It's on my watch list, and as soon as it becomes available, I'm a shareholder. Now, at the same time, Pfizer has thrown $1.35 billion at Beam. Beam is a different kind of company that does the same type of therapeutics, but uses a little different format. And then Intella has been financed by Kyverna Therapeutics to the tune of some additional billions of dollars. So this money, and again, think of this. This is the smartest people and the second smartest people in this field. The smartest people are the Beams, the CRISPRs, the Intellas, the Merediths, the scientists that are doing this work. And then they are basically, think of it this way. They've just discovered a new mousetrap, okay? But to get the money to manufacture that mousetrap, they need an injection of capital. So who is the best person to inject the capital? The people who can market the product. And they come and they say, oh, okay, we'll give you $1 billion if we can share in the royalties from the product you're going to produce. All right? Does that make sense? Yeah, it's a collaboration. It's a joining of strengths to be stronger. And that's what's happening. CRISPR got $900 million in the last year from Vertex. Vertex is a big player. As I said, they threw $900 million at CRISPR and $41 million with a potential of another $650 at Meredith. Intella is getting money. Century Therapeutics, again, a startup that is not available yet to us traders. Bristol-Myers gave them $100 million, plus they bought that $50 million worth of their private stock. So these are the companies that are jumping in and saying, Kerry and Bob in Ireland, we believe in you. We believe in these companies, and we want to be a part of it, and that's our easiest way. We don't want to reinvent the wheel that Meredith, Beam, CRISPR, Editis, Intella have all invented. So you need to know that this is happening and make a purchase if you haven't already, or be comfortable holding what you've got. Again, 7.7 billion I've been able to find. Now, what I did was take that research that I did, and it's now up to about a 10-page document, and I've put it on a PDF file. And I'm going to give you a link in the description where you can send me your name and your email address, and I'll send you a copy of the research that I've done. Now, what I've also done is then in that research paper, I've included a copy of my holdings and how much of each of these stocks I own based upon the price of last Friday. And it comes up to a total of about $181,687.28. So then I said to myself, okay, how can I project what this 181,000 is going to be worth in the future? So I went back and I found, I took my big six. My big six are Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, and NVIDIA. And I said, okay, if I had put a $10,000 into each one of them when they IPO'd, what would I have? So I created this chart here. And what it is a recap of if I had been wise enough to buy the big six when they first were IPO'd, what would they be worth today? And what would the X factor be relative to their growth? And I came up with an astronomical number that I just did not feel was justified. And you'll see it underneath their balance, such as in Microsoft, if I had invested $10,000, it would be worth $33 million today, and that would be a growth factor of 3,370. And then I said, okay, what if, in fact, another one, Google, if I had invested $10,000 in 2004, that would be worth 100, or that would be worth 150,000. So that's a 150x factor. I thought that probably would be a good way to determine. But when I came up with it, it was pretty astronomical. So you'll see it there on the bottom of the chart. So what I did was say, okay, let's be conservative. Let's attach a number that is smaller than the weakest one of the bunch of the six. And so I gave it a factor of 126. So I then said, if my money over the next 5 to 10 years grows as well as the poorest performer of my big six, what will my $181,000 be worth? And it came up with, as you can see on this chart, $22,892,000. Am I okay with that? Yeah. Is it realistic to think that my 181,000 will grow that way? Yeah, because some of them aren't going to perform that well. Some of them will actually dissolve and go away, and I'll lose all that money. But others will perform comparable to Microsoft, and I'll get a 3,370x out of that one. So I'm comfortable if, in fact, as what was it? Where's my? There it is. In the code breaker, as Walter Isaacson says, this is bigger than the digital revolution. Well, if he's right, then my 126x is not anywhere near. Okay? I have said in the past it would be 50x, but after this research, I think that was conservative. I really do. And so that's my answer to you, Bob, is that's what the potential is in these stocks. And most importantly, Big Pharma has recognized it. And after Big Pharma recognizes it, Big Wall Street will recognize it, and we'll see a surge in price. So don't get hung up on fear. Recognize that on the other side of fear is opportunity. And by all means, get rid of that unwanted roommate in your head that tells you that you don't know what you're doing and that you made a mistake, because you didn't. Okay? That's my take. I'd really like to invite you to join us on our Friday meeting. It's our tribe. Come and see. Come to Best of Us Investors. Sign up and give us your email address, and I'll send you an invitation. And again, if you would like the research work, a copy of the research work that I did to substantiate this video, go into the description and find the link. We'll call it the Genome Therapy Research of January 2022. Talk to you again tomorrow.